going on YouTube? Adam here. I'm also here with Tommy. Say hi.
Hey, hey guys.
Recently we did a video on what EVs and IVs do for you in general. And so we're going to now start a little mini series on how to use them efficiently in your teams.
For this series, we're going to be talking about how to use them to fit specific roles on your team. And just so everybody knows, when this video goes up, it's going to be Adam's birthday.
All right.
We're not joking. We have birthdays in the same month. Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
little weird.
we're
All
close
right,
to
so
that.
today we are going to be talking about the uh, the most favorite and least favorite of all Pokemon, the ones that can sweep late game. They're really fast and they hit really hard.
So to start off, you notice that this team has two Mega Aerodactyls in it. No, you can't actually do that. But it's just to show off. Like, this is what Smogon has as a standard Aerodactyl set. Max out your speed, and you might get off a home class, so Edge might not miss as much. But the thing with Aerodactyls tier, which is UU, is it is the fastest thing in the tier. The next thing below it is Sceptile. If you notice, Mega Aerodactyl speed with maxed out is 438. But the fastest thing below it maxed out at 427. So why
That's
would you waste all that extra speed when you don't need to go past 427?
the only real reason you would ever run that max speed on Aerodactyl in your UU tier would be if you're afraid of other Aerodactyls, which you would only speed tie them, so you're running the risk anyways.
Yeah, it's not worth it. You're better off building something that can take the hit, and we'll show you something like that later. I have a calc up. But if
Yep.
you look at this Aerodactyl here, 216 speed with Jolly Nature puts you at 429 speed, which guarantees you to outspeed Mega Sceptile and Mega Beedrill both because they both have the same base speed.
So you'll be able to outspeed the fastest threats in the tier besides yourself, and that can make it so you can just get your damage off safely.
And with that, obviously you just max out Aerodactyl's attack anyway because its point is to get off damage. And then you have 40 EVs to play around with however you want.
The best way, unless you're wanting to live a specific hit, it's probably just to go into your hit points because that'll help you physically and especially, although just marginally.
It's not going to be as, hey, I put in 40 in defense, now I'm living a lot more physical hits. You just kind of round out the damage a little better in your favor. You put in that 40 in your HP for both sides of the field.
It can make that one difference where you live on 1 HP, and that's always the best feeling in the game.
Is this the right one? Yeah, see, if you see right here, Metagross, obviously this is Jolly, not Adamant. If there's Adamant, you're not living anyway. But 40 HP, you have a chance to live that Iron Head.
That's really impressive, seeing as that's uh, Metagross is really strong.
Yeah, that's 135 attack, stab, super effective Iron Head, and you have a chance to live it with an Aerodactyl.
Yeah, and you have to remember, since your goal is to come in late game after everything's already weakened, you shouldn't have to take that Iron Head because you should be outspeeding it.
It's just a proof of concept thing.
It this calc may not seem the best to you guys, but it just shows that a little bit of hit points can make a few percent difference to where you'll live.
Yeah, if you notice, yeah, it says 99. If I take that 40 out, it's guaranteed takeout on your end if that Iron Head hits you. So it
Yeah,
does matter, kind of.
3% is the difference between living and dying. So,
It really is, and games come close like that.
sometimes it's just a game of rules, and not the edible kind.
But going back to the Aerodactyl, we mentioned build something a little bulkier to take on other Aerodactyls, I have another calc up right here. This is not set in stone, hey, use this. But if you're running a defensive Swampert, Aerodactyl's main stabs aren't hitting you that hard. If you look over here, Aerial Ace might take you out in 3 turns. Stone Edge could take you out in 6 turns. I mean, it's just showing you don't need to run your hyper offense and speed and risk speed ties when you can take other things out of the tier to live hits and dish them out.
This calc also shows you that pure defensive mons are going to be really strong at shutting down your sweepers. That's why you need to weaken everything first.
Yeah, that's very important.
The whole there is a different play style you have to do when you have sweepers, and that's you kind of have to have a lot of bulky things too to whittle everything down.
Another important thing with this calc is a lot of people look at base power of moves rather than how much they're actually doing. Stone Edge has 20 more base power over Waterfall, but because Waterfall is stab on Swampert, it's doing a lot more damage.
Yeah, it's after stab, it would hit 120, where Stone Edge would be at 100. So the Waterfall will be hitting harder.
Yeah, that Waterfall, I mean, this isn't max attack, but even if you max it out, I did check. I can show you right here. It's not making a huge difference. Stone Edge still isn't killing. Waterfall still has a chance to. So that extra 40 again, just so happened that I found that number. It's not significant, but you can put it where you want to take a couple extra hits.
And now on to my favorite game Pokemon.
Sceptile, speak of the devil.
Yep. So Sceptile is really interesting because you'll see a lot of people that like to run it physical just because Leaf Blade is cool. But yeah, it's a lot stronger as a special attacker just because there's not really many strong special attackers. And there's not really much good, especially defensive walls. So you being able to utilize it is really good.
Yeah, we didn't play around too much with Sceptile. It's just a standard Sceptile set to show you what it could look like. Mostly for demonstration, but.
And with this set, as we already said, there's there's a few things that are around your speed tier. Like your Sceptile is going to be like tied with Beedrill. It's a little bit slower than Aerodactyl, but running this set will make it so you'll outspeed a Adamant Aerodactyl, which you'll occasionally see.
Yeah, that is something to note. Aerodactyl cannot outspeed either Sceptile or Beedrill if it's not Jolly. If it maxed out its speed. So
that is the main reason why it is Jolly.
Yeah, that was important.
The Sceptile set, it doesn't really have the best coverage, but it works for kind of being a like 1 or 2 hit nuke with that Leaf Storm. It's a different kind of sweeper than Aerodactyl. Aerodactyl kind of wants to get in and be able to have a little bit of coverage to hit everything, and if it doesn't, then it switches out. Sceptile, it kind of wants to come in and hit something with its Leaf Storm and then switch out. It likes to, I'd say it's a sweep and switch.
Yeah, this thing is bothering me. I need to get rid of it in order to win this game.
Yeah. Sceptile, it's a fast sweeper, but because it uses moves that lower its special attack quite often, like Leaf Storm, you'll be using it most of the time when you're in battles. It doesn't really work that great. You have to keep switching.
Alright, but moving on from that, we mentioned Aerodactyl. You don't need to max out stats because it's not using them. But if you look at something like Alakazam, its stats don't help it at all.
Yeah, upping its hit points really won't help because it's so weak defensively. Upgrading its defense, it doesn't matter because again it has low hit points. It's it pretty much needs to just go maximum speed, maximum special attack. That's why most of the time you'll see a focus sash.
Yeah,
It'll give you clutch survivals.
yeah. That focus sash is the equivalent of investing in some hit points on something higher because you're not living more than one hit anyway, regardless if you invest or not, just because of how Alakazam was built.
Okay, another important thing to notice on sweepers is how their abilities work with their items and moveset.
Yes.
The the abilities become very crucial for your sweepers. They're not that as crucial for bulky Pokemon unless it's like Ferrothorn. It's
Ferrothorn
dealing
is
damage to you.
yeah.
But yeah, a lot of the times your sweepers, their abilities make a huge difference. Um, Alakazam, it's very much glass cannon, but because of its ability Magic Card, it really synergizes well with the item Focus Sash because Magic Guard keeps it from taking any damage besides from attacks.
Yeah, a lot of times people will set up hazards so that their sweepers can come in and not have to worry about focus dashes.
Alakazam,
Alakazam doesn't care.
yeah, Alakazam gets to ignore it, and since he's a sweeper himself, a lot of times he'll beat other sweepers. All right, if we look at Alakazam, we need to max its speed because it's in a contestable speed tier. There's a lot of things that are faster than 120.
Yeah,
So
Alakazam is just one of those things where you
it,
just need to be hitting first because you're not living a second hit.
yeah, and then we max special attack because we need as much damage as possible.
Yeah. That,
Okay, so,
that
so I'll,
four is just a stat.
yeah, and you may be wondering why we have taunt on this set. You could switch it out for focus blast, but
Yeah, we saw Taunt and put it on there. It's kind of a fun thing to use.
yeah, it's a fun thing to use. It can get people to rage, and uh, again, sweeper teams typically have more trouble against bulky teams. Bulky teams really like to abuse status. So if you sense that they're going for a thunder wave, you could taunt them, and then you don't have a paralyzed Alakazam.
Which it really is nice because once again, you need to be fast on Alakazam.
Yeah. Okay, so now on to Weavile.
Weavile is another example of you're not utilizing anything aside from your respective attack and your speed.
Now, now Weavile is a little bit different because you can put a little bit of hit points in, like if you're doing doubles. But
That's a different,
but
whole different video.
doubles is totally different from singles. We'll just let you know that.
A lot more in depth, a lot more strategy behind it.
Yeah. All right. So this set it's mostly around being able to outspeed everything and being able to hit really hard, as we've said many times. So again, you just put as much coverage as you can get. And Weavile's nice because it gets Ice Shard.
Ice Shard is very nice. Priority is a huge game changer.
Yeah, because you could go up against something that's Focus Sash and faster.
Yeah, like, well, Alexander's not faster, but
Yeah. Or maybe you go up against something that's Choice Scarf. And it's
Scarf
just,
is a big one.
yeah, Scarfs are important. And then we have one last example of a fast glass cannon sweeper.
The
But
Talon Flame.
this is a little different. All right. Notice how most of the other ones we invested like almost always into the attack and almost always into the speed. Well, on Talonflame, you're hitting priority most of the time.
Yeah. Some, like, obviously you see Smogon's suggested set right here is you max out your speed, but you don't need to.
Yeah. The reason why you don't need to max out your speed is that the only things you're really going to even not use your priority brave bird for are things that resist it, which would be like steel types, which you hit with flare blitz, and then electric types, which you'd probably hard switch on
Yeah, you
because
wouldn't.
they outspeed you
Generally
anyways.
speaking, you don't unless they're at low HP, which Brave Bird will take them out anyway.
Yeah. So the reason why we have this speed is that it outspeeds Mega Metagross.
That's a pretty important thing to have, just so that you're not. Metagross will probably take you out before you get off that Flare Blitz unless you're fast enough, and you have your extra HP to actually live hits.
Yeah, but above that, there's nothing really significant that you need to outspeed.
Yeah. Once again, Gale Wings just is one of those things where your priority is what's giving you your advantage.
Mm-hmm. And because we had all that left over, if you put it into your hit points, hey, now you take less recoil percent. So your Brave Bird and your Flare Blitz, they'll do the same amount of damage back to you, but you'll have more of a pool to come from.
Yeah, it's a little nicer.
Yeah, and in case you did not know, bulky Talonflame exists, and it's terrifying.
I love it.
Yeah. So that's how you kind of run your EVs, IVs on sweepers. Most of the time, sweepers are the ones that will be running your 252 sets. But if they're fast enough or they hit hard enough, sometimes you'll pull from that to add more bulk.
A little more efficient.
Just a little bit. I mean,
Like, we proved it with the Aerodactyl. You could live in Ironhead.
yeah. And those little chances really make the game.
Yeah.
Just think about it. If Thunderbolt could paralyze, I mean, you could have totally different national champions.
That's very true.
Like the little, like 6%, 10%, any percent chance that you have to survive or to win is a chance that you want to be able to have. And putting some bulk can give you chances to live.
So, yeah, with that, I think we're about done with this. Hope it helped you guys at all.
Yeah, and we should be going on with this series where we talk about different types of Pokemon.
Yeah. So we have our fast sweepers in right now. There's a couple other things we can go over.
Yeah, we'll probably go over your bulky offensive mons. Like if you guys know Simia's, basically his entire team
His
with
entire
Kieran
team.
Black, Metagross, and Victini. Well, we'll probably also talk about dedicated tanks or dedicated walls, whatever you want to call them. And we'll talk about a few other roles that people don't really think about that often. Maybe clerics, and then just straight out trolls.
Those are
Like
always fun.
Klefki.
Yeah, that's true.
Troll sets are always the best. Okay, so hope you guys like this video. And leave a comment on what type of thing, like which type of Pokemon you want to see next.
Any teams you want us to specifically go in depth on how to build, anything like that, just let us know. But with that, thank you guys. We'll see you later.